MotoGP is coming to India for the first time ever, and it's no surprise that more and more people have started following it this year with plans of attending the race in September. Are you one of them who started following the sport recently but don't have much knowledge about it? Don't worry, we've got you covered. You're watching this Racing Co. I'm Manish Tripathi, and this is MotoGP 101. This is your humble reminder that MotoGP is coming to India for MotoGP Bharat, happening on the 22nd and 24th September of 2023. Book your tickets on Book My Show. To understand the sport from the start, let's travel back in time to its origins. It goes back to 1949 when Grand Prix motorcycling started. Racing for 5 different categories of engines were held: 125cc, 250cc, 350cc, 500cc, and sidecars. The first ever 500cc GP race roared to life at the Isle of Man TT, with Harold Daniel emerging as the first GP winner. But the winner of that season was AJS, AJ Stevens & Co Limited, and Leslie Graham as constructors and riders especially. As technology evolved, Indian classes diversified into 4 categories: Premier MotoGP, which is 1000cc engines; Moto 2, which used Triumph Inline 3 765cc engines; Moto 3, which used 250cc engines; and Moto E, which used the Ducati V21L electric bikes, of which Moto E started recently in 2019. With 4 different classes of racing and over 11 teams competing in each class, you can only imagine the kind of drama that unfolds on and off the track. From horsepower limits to tire specifications, from race day protocols to safety measures, there is a comprehensive rule book that lays down the law and keeps the playing field level for all competitors. At the heart of this organized chaos stands FIM, which is what FIA is to F1. Founded over a century ago, FIM stands as the ultimate custodian of the two-wheeled sports. Although it's the sanctioning body of the sport, the tie-breaking vote lies with Dorna Sports, the commercial rights holder of the sport. Just like Liberty Media holds the rights for Formula 1, Dorna holds the rights for MotoGP. Now let's move on to the riders and the teams in MotoGP. We'll start with a few GOATs of MotoGP. I'm taking you all the way back to the 1950s. With 4 titles in Premier Class and 1 F1 World Championship in 1964, John Surtees is the only guy in the history of motorsports to win a championship in both two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Another interesting fact about his F1 World Championship is, when he won it in 1964, he was driving a Ferrari, which was blue in color, the only time Ferrari moved away from its classic red livery. But that's a story for another video. Now, winning a championship in both MotoGP and F1 is not a common feat, and him being the only one to do so, does that make him a hybrid GOAT? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on to the 60s and 70s, Giacomo Agostini is the most successful rider in MotoGP history. He dominated the track with whopping 15 World Championships. He holds the record for the highest World Championships till date. The medal of GOAT was again lifted by Mick Doohan, gaining 5 Premier titles back-to-back in 90s era with earth-shattering performance. Then comes the Doctor, Valentino Rossi. With 9 World Championships and iconic celebrations, Rossi brought life into the sport once again and took it to another level. Rossi holds the record of the most Premier Class victories with 89 victories to his name, having participated in more than 400 GPs. The Doctor raced for impressive 21 years in 2000 to 2021, longest career in the history of the sport. Our next GOAT is Casey Stoner, a natural talented rider having strongest ability to ride any motorcycle beyond its perceived limits. Casey Stoner won his and Ducati's first championship in 2007, where Ducati was an underdog like today's Yamaha. He also won a second title in 2011 with Repsol Honda. When I say smooth operator, you think of Carlos Sainz, right? However, the OG smooth operator is MotoGP's Jorge Lorenzo, getting the name in 2010s because of how he managed his tires, bike and racecraft. Jorge Lorenzo won 5 championships, out of which 3 were from Yamaha. You might have heard about aliens and their questionable existence. Let me present you Marc Marquez, so-called alien of MotoGP, who has 8 titles under his name. His audacious riding style and hunger for incredible achievements have made him modern legend, a force that reshaped the very concept of dominance. Take 2019 for instance. This guy won rider, team and constructor championship all on his own. He started his Premier Class career with Honda in 2013 and won Riders' Championship in his debut. He still remains the most successful Spanish rider with 59 wins. Whether it's Rossi's trademark celebrations, Marquez's fearless comebacks from injury, or the moments they've shared on the podium, these legends are the lifeblood of MotoGP. But MotoGP isn't about individual brilliance, it's the fusion of riders and teams that propels the sport forward. Unlike F1, teams and constructors are very different in MotoGP. there are currently 5 constructors: Yamaha, Ducati, Aprilia, KTM and Honda. The most successful constructor in Premier Class of MotoGP is Honda, which has supplied the bike, winning the championships on 21 different occasions. Honda has won 8 out of 9 championships between 2011 to 2019. Other than Honda, MV Agusta and Yamaha has been able to reach the double-digit number of titles with 19 and 18 wins respectively. The bikes are then used by different teams. Here also there are two different types of teams: factory teams and satellite teams. The factory teams are directly managed and funded by constructors, similar to how Ferrari and Mercedes produce engine and run the teams in F1. Ducati Lenovo Team, Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, Repsol Honda Team, and Aprilia Racing are the 5 factory teams currently on the grid. Satellite teams are the customer teams of the constructor, just like how Williams, McLaren and AMR buy engines from Mercedes. Ducati's customer teams are Pramac Racing, Muni VR46 and Gresini Racing. Honda has only one satellite team, which is LCR Honda. KTM has a satellite team called GasGasTech 3, and lastly Aprilia has RNF MotoGP Racing. Now let's see what MotoGP bikes are made of. MotoGP bike has 6-speed reverse gear shifting pattern gearbox, runs on a 4-cylinder engine up to 1000cc, 250 to 290 bhp, and the drive weight is restricted to 157 kgs. Drive weight is basically the weight of the bike without all the fluids like oils, fuel, etc. The most interesting part of a MotoGP bike is the ride height device, which adjusts front and rear ride height. However, the front ride height device, also called whole shot device, is partially banned from 2023 season and restricted for use at the start only. Aerodynamically, MotoGP bike has winglets, rear spoiler, aero fairing and no mirrors. MotoGP bike uses Marelli ECU programmed with Dorna unified software. MotoGP has also introduced a new ECU device for this year, boasting up to 4 times the computational power and up to 10 times data management compared to its predecessor. The new device has been designed to allow an extremely high level of control of the race by the MotoGP race direction through its real-time data collection, computation, analysis and transmission capabilities. A concrete example of these improvements is the danger light introduction. When a rider is falling, a crash signal is immediately sent to race direction, which can react, turning onboard lights on and taking on any other action to ensure safety. Apart from this, MotoGP uses 2 types of tires depending upon weather conditions. In dry conditions, 3 types of compounds are used: yellow walled hard tires, the black or no colored medium tires, and the white walled soft tires. For wet conditions, extra soft, which are light blue, soft, which are dark blue, and medium, which are white, are used. Now MotoGP this year has introduced a new race weekend format. It starts on Thursday with a typical press conference, Friday is for the practice sessions, Saturday is qualifying and the sprint race, and Sunday is the main race. Now Friday has 2 practice sessions, namely free practice 1 and practice. Saturday has qualifying. The qualifying format for MotoGP isn't as simple as F1, but the qualifying process does add a unique twist. Timings from practice session determine who enters Q1 and Q2. A leaderboard is prepared and the top 10 riders are directly qualified for Q2 while the rest have to go through Q1. During Q1, the top 2 riders qualify for Q2. So basically Q1 decides the grid from 13th to the last and Q2 decides from pole to the 12th position. And this sets your grid for both the sprint race and the feature race. The sprint race is like a mini version of the feature race or the main race. In sprint races, riders cover nearly 50 to 65 kilometers in 20 to 25 minutes, and in feature race, it's 40 to 55 minutes long with a race distance of over 100 to 130 kilometers. Points allotted for sprint races are up to 9th position, whereas the main GP has points allotted till the 15th position. But what's the ultimate goal of all these races? MotoGP boasts different championships that fuel the riders and the team's ambition. Riders want to get the most points for themselves to win the Riders' Championship, while the teams want to get the most points for themselves and win the team's championship. The total points the team takes are determined by the total points of both the riders at the end of the season. Now apart from this, there are 2 more. First is the Constructor Championship. As we talked earlier, every constructor has a factory team and also their own satellite teams. Now the aggregate points scored by all the teams under that specific constructor make up for the constructor's point, and that decides the Constructors' Championship. MotoGP also has a Rookie of the Year championship in which the most successful rookie on the grid in terms of points wins this. With that, I think we've covered most of what MotoGP is, and now you have a brief idea of how things work. Let's give you some information about the current season that's underway as well. Unlike F1, the Italian manufacturer is dominating the sport currently. Ducati sits on the top of Constructors' Championship and its rider Pecco Bagnaia is also the championship leader in the riders category. Ducati has truly taken the spotlight this season, with the factory rider Francesco Bagnaia leading the charge. Bagnaia's victories in sprint and rain races have put him in the driver's seat. Not only Ducati's factory team, but also their satellite teams Prema Pramac and Munivia 46 have played a significant role in supporting this dominance. On the other hand, Honda and Yamaha, the Japanese powerhouses, seem to be facing some unexpected hurdles. Ever since Marquez's injury in 2020, Honda has struggled to maintain its competitive edge. The decision to develop the bike around one rider has backfired, leaving them in a challenging position when relying on others. Yamaha, which clinched the championship in 2021, faced a different issue. Seeking more power, they made adjustments that led to a powerful bike in 2023, but it came at a cost. The bike's power has tied the chassis in knots, making it difficult to ride effectively and challenge Ducati's dominance. In fact, the two remaining Japanese manufacturers have fallen so far off from the top, and the rapidity with which that has happened has had some both inside and outside the sport predicting that they might do a Suzuki and withdraw to lick their wounds rather than plowing endless millions into merely turning up each race weekend with the chance of very little reward. Basically, pull out from the sport like Suzuki did in 2022. But it is also essential to acknowledge Ducati's remarkable journey in recent years. Despite a challenging past, Ducati has made a triumphant comeback. The 2022 season wasn't a foregone conclusion until Bagnaia snatched the championship from Quartararo and Yamaha. Since then, Ducati has displayed a remarkable dominance. Their success isn't solely due to the sheer number of bikes on the grid, it's also attributed to the exceptional quality of the Ducati GP bike. A bike every satellite team would do anything to get their hands on. What is also helping is the quality of riders on the Ducatis. Bagnaia is a known force, of course, and we have not seen the best of Bastianini due to the injury, but the likes of Bezzecchi, Zarco and Marini have been on top form. Bezzecchi especially, with a sprint victory and two main race wins, that is not something you'd expect from a brand new team. So there you have it folks, that was MotoGP 101, our attempt to introduce the sport to you and increase your knowledge levels. Now we do have to mention that there are a lot of things which we might not have covered in this video and we do apologize for that. The MotoGP landscape in 2023 is marked by Ducati's dominant run, Honda and Yamaha's challenges and the emergence of new teams and talents. As the season unfolds, we can expect more twists and turns on the track. If you like the video, hit the like button. We have a lot more interesting content planned for the future, so do subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss anything. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X to get live updates from the world of motorsports. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.